There are hidden forces that rule the world and make important decisions that control the fate of humanity. Today we will learn about these hidden forces. Don't forget to subscribe and click like to support us and receive all new updates. In the heart of a clandestine mansion, a sanctuary concealed from prying eyes, there existed an enigmatic gathering like no other. Guarded by figures cloaked in shadows, their faces hidden behind masks, the world's most influential and enigmatic individuals converged. This clandestine assembly was known by a single name, whispered in hushed tones throughout the corridors of power, the Council of Elders. Within the dimly lit chamber, bathed in the muted glow of candles, the council's members took their seats around a circular table of ancient oak. Each member bore a cloak adorned with a symbol, a badge of their dominion over various facets of the world's intricate affairs. The symbols spoke of unparalleled authority, a gilded coin for finance, a labyrinthine circuit for technology, an eagle in flight for politics, and more, each emblem an embodiment of their influence. Their objective was as shrouded in mystery as the council itself, to maintain an unyielding grip over the flow of global events. They operated beyond the scrutiny of governments, corporations, and the general populace. In the hallowed chambers of their clandestine mansion, they strategized, conspired, and pulled strings that shaped the destinies of nations. The finance elder, known as the silent broker, held sway over the world's economies, manipulating currencies, markets, and fortunes with a mere word. The technology master, the digital oracle, controlled the invisible threads of the digital realm, directing the flow of information, innovation, and surveillance. The political virtuoso, the shadow diplomat, orchestrated geopolitical chess games with nations as pawns, ensuring that peace and conflict danced to the council's tune. Their meetings were shrouded in whispers, secrets, and veiled intentions. Every decision, every decree was calculated, designed to further their collective agenda, an agenda that remained hidden beneath layers of intrigue and deception. They maintained a delicate balance between cooperation and competition, their individual ambitions masked by a facade of unity. As the Council of Elders convened in that clandestine mansion, the world outside remained unaware of their existence. Yet, the currents they set in motion, the strings they pulled, and the shadows they cast reached every corner of the globe. Their dominion over the world's affairs was a well-guarded secret, a testament to the enduring power of the hidden forces that held the world in their grip. The council was an enigma that haunted the corridors of power across the globe. From their clandestine lair, hidden in the depths of secrecy, they pulled the strings that moved the world. Believed to manipulate governments and corporations from the shadows, their power extended far beyond what the public could fathom. Advanced technology was their ally, a formidable weapon in their arsenal. They had access to surveillance systems that rivaled the most sophisticated intelligence agencies. Every keystroke, every whispered conversation, every digital footprint left by the world's leaders was meticulously recorded and analyzed. The flow of information was their domain, a river that they controlled with unparalleled finesse. Behind every major world event, whether it was a financial crisis that sent shockwaves through markets or a political upheaval that reshaped the global landscape, there was an invisible hand at work, a hand that belonged to the council. They orchestrated events with a precision that defied belief, using their knowledge to manipulate outcomes to their advantage. In the wake of a devastating economic collapse, the council had engineered, the public was left reeling, searching for answers in a sea of confusion. Little did they know that the chaos had been carefully choreographed, that the council had profited immensely from the suffering of millions. As the world grappled with the aftermath of political revolutions and regime changes, it was the council who dictated the new order, their chosen leaders rising to power as if by divine intervention. But in the shadows, whispers of resistance began to emerge. A group of unlikely heroes, armed with determination and a burning desire for justice, sought to unveil the council's machinations. They delved into the darkest corners of the internet, piecing together a mosaic of evidence that pointed towards the council's existence. As the heroes closed in, the council's grip on their carefully crafted world began to slip. The revelation of their control sent shockwaves through society, igniting protests and resistance movements across the globe. The battle between transparency and secrecy reached a fevered pitch, as the world demanded to know the truth. In the end, the council's influence waned, its hidden strings exposed for all to see. The world, scarred by their manipulation, began to rebuild with a newfound commitment to transparency and accountability. The era of the invisible hand guiding the strings had come to an end, leaving a world forever changed by the knowledge that those in power could be held accountable, no matter how deeply they hid in the shadows. One fateful night, the mansion that housed the secrets of the Council of Elders was cloaked in an eerie silence. Shadows clung to the walls, and the enigmatic figures guarding its entrance remained vigilant. Unbeknownst to them, a storm was brewing within the council's ranks, and at its heart was an insider named Elena. Elena had long been a puppeteer, a masterful manipulator of information and a key player in the council's web of deceit. But as the years passed, her conscience began to weigh heavily upon her. She had witnessed the consequences of the council's actions, the suffering and chaos they had sown across the world. Disillusioned and burdened by guilt, she could no longer bear her role in this clandestine game of power. On that fateful night, her resolve solidified. With trembling hands, she ventured into the heart of the council's inner sanctum, where the most closely guarded secrets were held. She knew the risks, the danger of exposing the council's plans, but her conscience had become a relentless force, pushing her forward. Elena stole a trove of classified documents, each one a piece of the puzzle that would reveal the council's intricate web of deceit. These documents contained the blueprints of their operations, the names of their agents, and the details of their clandestine deals. It was a treasure trove of information that could shatter the council's iron grip on the world. As she made her escape from the mansion, Elena felt the weight of her actions pressing down upon her. Her life was in imminent danger. The council's reach was far-reaching and their vengeance swift. But she was driven by a singular purpose, to expose the truth and hold the council accountable for their crimes against humanity. With the stolen documents in her possession, Elena embarked on a perilous journey. She reached out to trusted contacts in the world of investigative journalism, those brave enough to challenge the council's dominance. Together, they began to piece together the puzzle, slowly unraveling the intricate threads of the council's conspiracy. As the truth began to emerge, the world held its breath. The revelations sent shockwaves through governments, corporations, and institutions. Protests erupted in the streets, demanding justice and transparency. The Council of Elders, once hidden in the shadows, was now exposed to the harsh light of scrutiny. Elena's actions had ignited a fire that could not be extinguished. The council's power was shaken, and their web of deceit began to crumble. But Elena knew that her journey was far from over. She remained a fugitive, hunted by the very forces she had once served. Yet, her conscience remained her unwavering guide, driving her to see the battle through to its end, to unveil the truth, no matter the cost. Elena's desperate quest for justice led her to an unlikely ally, David, an investigative journalist renowned for his fearless dedication to exposing corruption and uncovering hidden truths. They met in the dimly lit corners of the city, their rendezvous shrouded in secrecy, knowing that their every move was monitored by the council's watchful eyes. Their clandestine meetings began with whispers of fear and determination. In the dim glow of a secluded café, Elena revealed chilling details about the council's stranglehold on the world's most precious resources, economies, and governments. She shared stories of shadowy figures and clandestine operations, of power brokers who moved in the darkness, orchestrating global events to their advantage. As David listened to Elena's harrowing accounts, he realized the enormity of the challenge they faced. The council's reach extended further than he had ever imagined, their influence stretching across borders, industries, and institutions. It was a vast and intricate web of corruption that ensnared the world, and tearing it down would require courage and cunning beyond anything he had encountered before. David began to delve into the documents Elena had stolen, meticulously cross-referencing names, dates, and events. The puzzle pieces gradually fell into place, revealing a disturbing picture of the council's machinations. Their manipulation of governments, control of financial markets, and subversion of justice systems became undeniable, painting a portrait of an organization that had infiltrated the very foundations of the world's power structures. As David's investigations continued, he realized the perilous path he was treading. The council's agents were not bound by rules or morals, they operated with ruthless efficiency, silencing those who dared to challenge them. David's life became a constant dance on the edge of danger, as he raced to expose the truth before the council could silence him. The revelations David uncovered sent shockwaves through the world. Governments were rocked by scandals, corporations faced public outrage, and the streets were filled with protests demanding accountability. The council, once hidden in the shadows, found themselves under a glaring spotlight, their power unraveling as their secrets were exposed. Yet, as David and Elena pushed forward, they knew that their battle was far from over. The council's influence ran deep, and their thirst for control was unrelenting. The journalist and the whistleblower were bound by a shared purpose, to bring the council to justice and to ensure that the world would never again be ruled by hidden forces that manipulated the fate of humanity from the shadows. David's relentless investigation took him deeper into the heart of the council's dark web of hidden connections. With each revelation, he peeled back another layer of their intricate and sinister designs, exposing a network of influence that extended across continents and decades. As he combed through the stolen documents, David uncovered a trail of orchestrated conflicts that had plagued nations for generations. The council had instigated wars, fueled regional tensions, and pitted countries against each other, all to maintain a delicate balance of power that served their interests. It was a chilling revelation, showcasing the extent to which they were willing to go to perpetuate their dominance. The financial sector was not spared from the council's manipulation. David unearthed evidence of their mastery over global currencies and markets. They had the ability to destabilize economies at will, triggering financial crises that enriched them while leaving the world in turmoil. It became clear that the council had profited from the suffering of millions, their wealth growing exponentially as economies crumbled. But it was in the realm of geopolitics that the council's true power became apparent. They had covertly controlled governments, influenced elections, and determined the fate of nations. David discovered a trail of covert operations, political assassinations, and intelligence agencies under their sway. The world's political landscape had been meticulously sculpted to serve the council's insatiable thirst for power and control. Behind the chaos and upheaval of the world, the council operated as puppet masters, pulling strings that manipulated events to their advantage. Their influence extended from the boardrooms of multinational corporations to the halls of government power, and even into the darkest corners of criminal enterprises. They were the architects of history, the architects of suffering, and the architects of their own power. David knew that exposing the council's insidious influence would be his greatest challenge yet. The enormity of their power was staggering, and the risks he faced were unimaginable. But he was driven by a relentless pursuit of justice, a burning desire to unveil the truth and hold the council accountable for their crimes against humanity. As he continued to connect the dots and unearth their hidden connections, David realized that he stood on the precipice of a revelation that could change the world. The council's grip on global events was slipping, and their web of deceit was unraveling. The time had come for their dark reign to face the light of truth, and David was determined to be the one to expose them for what they truly were, architects of chaos and masters of manipulation.